Well, meanwhile, the governing party's National Working Committee has been discussing the unrest that recently hit Mahikeng. For more on this, let's go now to eNCA's reporter, Siphamandla Goge, who joins us now from Durban. Good afternoon, Siphamandla. So a day of meetings there of the National Working Committee, but do we have any expectations that a decision will be reached today coming out of the National Working Committee of the ANC?
Definitely not today, Tulas. I mean, based on what is being discussed behind me, all we know is that that will be taken to the party's highest decision-making body, which is the National Executive Committee, and that's where the decision is likely to be taken and to be communicated. However, we were told by some members of the National Working Committee who entered the meeting that, of course, the issue was on the agenda. It was going to be discussed, but we don't know whether it has been discussed yet, because this meeting has got two phases. The first phase, from the morning up until now, we were told, was the issue of the Provincial Interim Committee in KwaZulu-Natal, whereby NWC members were also reporting to the meeting when they were deployed to various regions in KwaZulu-Natal yesterday, across 9 regions which are due to convene their regional conferences. NWC members crisscrossed KwaZulu-Natal, and they gave those reports because we are told that the majority of ANC branches in regions, they are calling for the provincial elective conference to be convened soon. So the issue of the Northwest and Supra Mahumapelo, we were told it was going to feature here, but we are also told by our sources that no decision will be communicated today after this meeting.
That would make sense, absolute sense, as Siphamandla, of course, because the NWC is an implementing agency and it's not really the decision-making body, which is the National Executive Committee. Let's talk a bit about the other issue on the table, the issue of the state of readiness of KwaZulu-Natal regions and branches for various conferences, including, of course, the provincial conference. What is the bone of contention there, particularly around this issue of the interim committee that is in charge of the affairs of KwaZulu-Natal?
Well, the term of office for that provincial interim committee expires this week. So effectively, it means the NWC needs to take a decision which it will refer to the NEC to decide whether it extends the term of office for the outgoing provincial interim committee. At the center of it is the issue of the provincial elective conference. You will recall that the Pietermaritzburg High Court nullified the 2015 elective conference, and the National Executive Committee of the ANC ordered that the previous PEC be suspended and that an interim structure be put in place to prepare for the provincial elective conference. Last week, I spoke to the convener of the Provincial Interim Committee, Mahumapelo, who told me that that conference will not be convened in April as per the roadmap due to unforeseen circumstances, if I were to quote him direct. Now, he said if it were to be convened, it will be somewhere in May or June. However, they will wait for the directive of the ANC NEC, because remember, the political environment in KwaZulu-Natal is very sensitive in different regions. In eThekwini, for instance, on Monday last week, there was a group which marched and which was complaining about allegations of gatekeeping and manipulation of BGMs. They are saying if that conference were to take place, it will be injustice. 4 days later, another group marched to the provincial office and said they have convened about 70% of the BGMs. They meet the threshold. They are ready for the provincial conference. Of course, there was chaos and tensions in other regional meetings, including the Moses Mabhida region in Pietermaritzburg and the Lower South Coast.
As you mentioned, there's also been a lot of activity around, groupings, various groupings of the ANC in that province. Recently, we saw a meeting at which there was much criticism for the current leadership, the National Executive Committee, including people such as Begicele, who is a prominent member of the ANC, of course, there, but also who belongs to the eThekwini region. What is the story there with those groupings that are actually agitating for this conference to be held as soon as possible?
They are saying some NEC members, including Peggy Cele and others, they are ill-disciplined and they've called on the NEC. Particularly, we were told that yesterday when the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, was meeting with one of the powerful regions, the eThekwini region, which has got about 110 branches, where Peggy Cele is the former chairperson. We are told that they called on the president and NWC and NEC members to address the likes of Peggy Cele so that they will stop to being ill-disciplined, according to them. But for now, let me step out of the shot and ask Francois to give us what is happening in the background, because we understand there is some activity. Let's just get this gentleman off the way. I see NEC member here, Senzo Mchunu, and I see Provincial Interim Committee member Peking Konyeni also is there. Of course, you would recall that Senzo Mchunu was going or gunning for the position of the Secretary General of the ANC prior to the NASREC conference. I see the ANC mid-liaison person in KwaZulu-Natal, Mhlabunzi Mamemela, is calling us into that briefing as we see NEC member Derek Anekom leaving that briefing, and then you can see that now the meeting is over. Baba, is the meeting over?
Yes.
How was it? What was discussed?
Excellent.
What was discussed? What was on that agenda? Did you discuss the Northwest issue?
No. You know what? Yeah. I am not the spokesperson for the ANC.
I know, but if you can share with us.
No, you can ask the people, the media people or the SG to share with you what was discussed at this meeting. But you know, the primary purpose of this meeting was to deal with some of the challenges in the province, and it was a very, very good meeting, and we really emerged out of here much stronger, much clearer about what needs to be done, and with a clear decision that the province is ready to go to conference. But these are matters that will have to be taken to our National Executive Committee, because there these big decisions are taken. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that was NEC member Derek Anekom, simply confirming what we've been told by our sources, that the majority of branches of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal are ready for the conference. Chulas, I'm going to ask you to release us so that we go back inside there, because Ms. Mahashule, the Secretary General of the ANC, is about to brief us.
And thank you for trying there with Derek Anekom. Siphamandla, let me release you so you can set up inside. There you have it. You heard it first here on eNCA.